Hello, everybody. Today we're talking about Colombia, real estate as a real estate destination. I'm going to go over some stats, why it's a good country to invest right now, and next week we'll have comparables. So this is agenda. It's going to be pretty lengthy, so please save all your questions for the end, and then we'll be able to go one by one. This will be recorded, and this will be in YouTube, so you can go back to it. A little bit about me and why we do what we do weekly is because we love international real estate and we just showcase the opportunities around the world and why one country is different than the other. You can find all our information in Unicorn Properties in our YouTube. We have all the recordings available there, and my Instagram as well, Nathaly Salas. And this is my personal cell phone in case you have any questions. You can scan the QR code as well to go to my WhatsApp. And if you don't get to connect with a realtor that speaks English, I can help you as well to transition into the buying process, but they are very capable and they know their market very well. So we work hand by hand with local realtors on the ground to make sure that we can bring the latest and the most compliant information to the group. A little bit about our company, and so you know that we are in 24 countries right now with eXp Realty. This is the name of the company. It's a US-based company, and with that we are able to send and receive referrals and clients from all over the world. So today we're focusing on Colombia, but we're covering 23 countries, and Colombia, including the US and Canada. In the US, we're present in every single state of the US, and we currently have about 80,000+ members in our community of realtors around the world. So we have a pretty large community. These are the countries, if you want to see it more visually, where we are. We're all the way from Australia to the US and everything in the middle, including Europe. Today, I want to focus on my favorite area, the Caribbean. This is the regions we cover, just so you see it as a list. Feel free to screenshot anything that you need. And if you have any questions about real estate in any of these locations, you can let me know, and I can contact you with the person that will be able to help you specifically in each city. Something worth mentioning, and I love sharing this information, is that we not only focus on real estate as a transaction. Our clients are mostly international buyers buying into a new market. So we always provide the big picture to make sure that people usually don't go and buy a home just randomly. They need to know more about the financing, the legal, some of the accounting, how do you pay your taxes, what are the property taxes locally, what's your liability for income, if you make any income for rental, anywhere around the world. So we cover those areas as well. In some countries, we cover construction architecture for custom homes, but also for developers. So we work with large developers to showcase their inventory, but at the same time with clients to make sure that's a good fit for them too. There's a lot of myths on why people cannot buy internationally. You don't have to be specifically from the country, but if you're from the country or you have a background, your parents were from, let's say, Colombia, it might be a little easier to call that immigration status and passport to make sure that you get a little bit more benefits than an international buyer. But everybody can buy. I covered the country of Mexico. Today we're talking about Colombia, but we're going to also compare and contrast those areas as well. We talk about property management as well in the markets that we cover, so we can provide a full solution to that need. That is, what happens with the home that I buy? Is it going to sit there, or can I rent it? And how does it work when I rent it? What happens after? Also, we have some relocation services available, and those are, you can just ask, and then we'll share more information about those providers. Here, you can scan this QR code. It will take you to our calendar of what's coming next. Here we have had right now already these countries that you see on the list. We have Colombia next we're in Colombia right now, but I have the wrong flag. But we already covered Puerto Rico, Italy, Dubai, and this week is Colombia. We split it in two parts because it's too much information. But mostly the first part is the theory, which we call it the why the country, what are the statistics, what's economic growth, what is the government doing for the country. And then the second part is like, okay, by city, let's compare prices. What are the price per square meter or the price per square foot? What do you get for what? So that's very important for investors because they want to know, how much should I budget for this type of properties, and how do I, once I pick my city, how do I get to the specific property that I want? If you missed prior sessions, we do work with realtors and investors. So you can scan the QR code and it will take you to our YouTube channel. And that has all the recordings that we had in the past. This is very helpful because if you miss a session, it will be recorded like this one, and you can go back to it and repeat it if you need to. As I mentioned, that you learn more about the process itself for buying. You can connect also with the listing agents that we'll be presenting, and we share listings that are live. But if you see the recording, probably the inventory will vary based on availability. And we work with realtors as well because they can make extra money with these referrals if they send a client to us, and we can close them in a different country. So it helps everybody. And I'm going to introduce the team now, and first, super fast, why Colombia and why the topic today. And it's mostly because it's one of the top cities right now for investment for people that want to relocate, especially digital nomads and people who retire. They would like to see their retirement funds stretch for longer and have a better lifestyle and, nice, warmer place, especially if you come from the Midwest, like we do. It's a strategic location. It's not too far from the US and similar time zone, depending where you are in the US and Canada, but it's growing. They have a large expat community, still have affordable prices. They have a cultural appeal, and Claudia will explain more about that because she lives there full time, and then the tourism as well. So with that, I want to leave Claudia to introduce herself, and I'll stop talking.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our country. How it's nice to have you here. Thank you so much, Nathaly, for the introduction. And yes, I am a real estate agent in Colombia. I am from Cartagena. I love this city. I have been working over 10 years now between Panama and Colombia. I've been working as a top producer in Keller Williams, and today I enjoy this amazing network, the 𝗙𝗥𝗘𝗃, which is a really strongly worldwide. Of course, my first language is Spanish, but I'm here to speak a little bit about how our country is and why Cartagena, the cities, Barranquilla, Medellín, Cali, Bogotá, and all these cities going to be a big booming for you as an investment. And here a little bit about information about me. And also, by the way, you're going to be here coffee on us. Coffee is an essential production. But here we are for you. So anything related to Cartagena or anything on the coastline, we have the brokers for you. And next we're going to present Miguel Solera, who is in Barranquilla. Okay, do I present me o Miguel en español? Miguel, hi, Miguel, you want to present yourself? Yo te traduzco. Miguel?
Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Miguel. I'm a real estate professional. I'm living in Barranquilla in this moment. Specialist, sorry for my English, sorry. I'm learning. Specialist in horizontal property, residential and vacation. I am a real estate agent with 5 years of experience, specializing in the management, purchase, and sale of residential and vacation properties in Santa Marta and Barranquilla. My focus is on providing high quality service and comprehensive support to investors and buyers with in-depth knowledge of the real estate market in the region. This is my presentation because my English, sorry for that.
Está perfecto. It's okay, Mia. Thank you so much. And we have also another broker coming in, Ricardo Hernández. He is a professional in Bogotá, in área de la Sabana. We're going to talk a little bit about how Bogotá is formed and how can we invest also in Bogotá, our main capital city. And right now, he also has been a top producer, has worked with Keller Williams, and today he has joined 𝗙𝗥𝗘𝗃 Colombia. He's really focused on 𝗙𝗥𝗘𝗃, 𝗙𝗥𝗃𝗃, and all these outside areas of Bogotá, especially for big homes and relocations. So right here we are. Let's talk up. Okay, can you hear that? Does it resonate double or doesn't resonate? Okay, let's talk about a little about why to invest in Colombia and why are you here? the main focus on this meeting, of this talk today, is to understand how the Colombian market works. And Colombia is a very profitable country. It's a country which we have the values of the properties rise every year. We don't go down or the volume of sales in our properties. It is the contrary. It has a good appraisal of the property and land. Colombia is growing abruptly. It's growing fast. And Colombia, as you know, even yesterday we can talk a little bit about. Colombia has been by this magazine Index of Retirement, has been nominated as the 10th country in the world. So you can have second homes and retirement due to health services. Also, why is Colombia so important? Because we have tourism and tour rental market. It is booming right now, especially in the cities like 𝗙𝗏𝗘𝗃, Barranquilla, Santa Marta, and Medellín. And we have a lot of incentives for foreigners when you invest in certain areas of Colombia. Also, this is starting to be a technical hub for young people. We're bringing young people between 18 and 35 years old. Colombia has a very strong road infrastructure. Let's say, Claudia, you're talking so beautiful about Colombia. What's going on in Colombia? Well, Colombia, even though we're in some hiccups right now, Colombia right now, everybody is investing and putting it out to this country of growth. Colombia also is very, very handy regarding foreigners. We welcome all foreigners to our country, and we hope this country for you is a second home, a real good time investor. So let's talk about Colombia per se. So Colombia per se, about the location of Colombia. So Claudia, most of the people are extremely fear regarding, the hurricanes. Claudia, what happens if I live in Miami, or if I live, tornadoes, things like that. We don't have that here. We have a couple of rains, like very strong raining, but doesn't have hurricanes because the way we are located geographically, we cannot hit by hurricanes. Maybe we can have, those strong rains we're talking about. Meanwhile, in Miami, we know what happened in Florida this couple of weeks ago. We here are totally safe. And since we're safe, this is a very attractive for relocation, especially for those areas that are hit in U.S. and other parts of the world by hurricanes or natural disasters. We do have some natural disasters in other cities, but there will be more cities, right? We have a lot of reduced risk, so your risk is not so high as many countries are. So that's a huge advantage for us. Let's talk about tourism expansion. I mean, I love this city and I love my country and I adore what's going on. And, I want to tell a little bit right now, stop a little bit about the experience. I lived in Panama for 23 years. I was a real estate broker over there, licensed. I came back to my home country 3 years ago, exactly today, 3 years ago. And when I come back, I see everything changed, and it changed for good. And it changed in a way that I feel comfortable. And this is what Colombia makes to the tourists, makes feel comfortable. Now, Claudia, tell me a little about the stories, horror stories you hear on the news. Unfortunately, we do have some horror stories, but that's why it's so important to go hand by hand with a good, trusted agent. And in our case, we'd love to work with you in 𝗙𝗏𝗃 Colombia. So talk about numbers. The visitor growth last year, compared 2023 to 2024, 50% of our were 50% were foreigners and 50% were national tourism. So saying this, our same country is betting for our own country. So people from Medellín, Cali, and Bogotá come to the coastline like Cartagena, Barranquilla, and Santa Marta. And these are cities that are going to see how potentially the growth it is regarding tourism and health services and industrial services like Barranquilla. So the year has increased of 8.54%. That's huge numbers I pointed out. Let's go a little bit further more what it is Colombia. Nathaly, cosas? No, antes. Before. No. Weather, we have tourism, the next one. Okay, we're going to have the growth in cities, and we just outlined it clearly where tourism rises up. Medellín is Medellín. Medellín has authentic climate, way over the top. I mean, sincerely, it does. It's a very moving city. It is very appealing to foreigners. It is really an expat community has built in Medellín. Medellín today, all the noise that we had around our country, Medellín is outlining the head of all our cities. I need coffee. So Medellín is very well known as the Eterno Spring or La Eterna Primavera. It's a very innovation hub. Right now, it is full of focusing of nomads. So there are a lot of builders and developers focusing on that kind of niche. So it will be a good investment too. Because there will be, like you can see, for example, Medellín apartments for sale of 42 square meters, and they're selling for 100K, for example, or 80K, but they are renting fully to these nomads. So this is the point in our real estate Medellín is heading for. And now we have, maybe you have come to Medellín, I know a little about the city. The food is way over the top, it's amazing. The people is really nice. And it's a very, we call it in Colombia, pujante. That means it's a very strong regional city that always looking forward growth. And what areas are the good areas of investment? We have a Poblado that we all know what Poblado is right now. Not right now is the most expensive area in Medellín. We have Laureles, which is really good. It's raising up to the height of Sabaneta. We have Envigado, Belén, Ciudad del Río, and San Diego. Let's go to the next city. Bogota, of course, is our capital city. It's a city of growth. That's, professionals and big companies are staying there. But it is competing also with Barranquilla because Barranquilla is growing strongly too versus Bogota. Let's talk about some really good areas to invest. This Bogota is more looking for relocation, schools, universities, more than tourism per se. So what areas are good to invest there? Chico, Rosales, Chapinero, Alto, Usaquén. Usaquén is really nice too. We have foreigners there too. La Cabrera, Santa Bárbara, y Cedritos, y La Candelaria. We're gonna go next to Cartagena, of course, my city. There's no hay predilección. There's no like the balance turning to Cartagena. This city, I adore this city. As you can see, this city is booming right now. The city is growing strongly regarding tourism and health services. This city is growing to the north side, and we have really good hospitals and schools, and it's very welcoming to foreigners. Also for the huge community that is arriving to our city is the African American community, which has been very strongly here, and they're welcome anytime here. So, it has been a very good alliance to work with them. We have also the luxury hotels, and we also have those flipping properties that you can buy, resell, rent, and renovate and rent. What areas are to invest? Boca Grande is a residential area, Lanito, Castillo Grande residential. The old city, of course, the wall city is booming right now. It's a lot of cleaning right now regarding our tourism, so you can walk nicely. There will be no hesitation as it used to be before. There are other areas that are extremely booming too, to the north side, that is Serena del Mar, Caribaná, and of course the beautiful waters of Peru. As you can see, I have a crush in Cartagena. Can we just pass it on? Santa Marta. Santa Marta, I remember when we used to go to a rodadero when I was a little kid. I did nice beaches right here. Cartagena, but Santa Marta has changed thoroughly. Santa Marta right now is 100% focused on tourism. It has different areas of development like Pozos Colorados. It is good for retirement, baby boomers, and expats. So if you want to invest in this city, it will be amazing to do a review of the properties you can purchase. It is less expensive than our cities, but it's a city that is booming today. So what areas are booming? It is Pozos Colorados, Playa Santiago, which is really nice. You can see the old city and Belo Horizonte. I mean, Rodadero used to when we go like very, very small kids, you know. Miguel, you want to say something about Santa Marta? ¿Quieres hablar algo sobre Santa Marta? If you want, I can translate that for you.
It's good. Your explanation is good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. I mean, you want to say something for sure, just jump in, will be amazing. So we have our next city, Barranquilla. That's what we have Miguel Salera here. I mean, Barranquilla Barranquilla is known as like the center capital of the coastline. Everything focused in Barranquilla's industry. And this has becoming the heart of progress in all coastline of Colombia, on the coast Atlantic Ocean. The ports now with all these in Malecón, with the Rio Magdalena, and make a guess. Yesterday there was some really good news about Barranquilla, Cartagena, and Santa Marta. We are launching a cruise trip through these three cities through the Rio Magdalena. Let's talk a little bit about, of course, Barranquilla also has been nominated with travel awards as the best gastronomic city in America Latina, which is really amazing and you know, it's impacting. I'm proud to be, you know, from the coastline. Where to invest? We have Alto Prado, Villa Santos, Buenavista, El Prado, Campestre, and Rio Alto. These areas, not all of them are tourism, but these areas are very strongly wise industrial regarding the economy and how it pushes our coastline economy and distributes that income through the different departments in Colombia. So we have another city, Cali, we have, all our cities has names, right? So Cali Pachangere, you know, yesterday I was checking out some news also regarding why Cali, you know, Cali unfortunately has been one of the strongest cities regarding in 1984 with all these things, with our cartel and all the stuff. But now Cali today is just pushing back slowly, little by little, to get into the level of Medellín and Bogotá. And how they're doing it right now, they're really focusing on environmental protection and innovation studies, and the climate is amazing. And, you know, and the dance is way over the top. You know, you can dance salsa all the time. It's a fun nightlife too. Extremely important neighborhoods is Ciudad Jardín, very well known, San Fernando, El Peñón, Normandía, Santa Teresita, y El Ingenio. El Ingenio right now is also a very important area in Cali. Next, Nathaly. Who do we have left? Okay, let's talk a little about our country. So say, Claudia, how do we work together? How do you came with the numbers, you know, that of 2023, 2024? You know, what is the amount of tourism that we can get from your own country? And this is one of the main reasons. We have high connectivity between our cities. Every city, main city, has an airport. And we have El Dorado in Bogotá. We have national and international flights and cargo flights. José María Córdoba, Medellín. Then también tenemos el de Río Negro, Rafael Núñez in Cartagena. Cartagena, right now the population is over 5 million passengers. But right now, Rafael Núñez will be opening a second venue called Imbayunca. Will be opening around between 11 million passengers. More or less will be like at the same level as Medellín, bringing tourism. Alfonso Bonilla in Cali, more than 6 million passengers. Cities from Madrid, Panama, and Miami. Remember that Cali is a very commercial area too. Santa Marta, we have a lot of people from Medellín, and of course we have Ernesto Cortizos, one of the most important airports in the coastline, that it is in Barranquilla. So we do have a lot of connectivity, not only by sea, but also through all our planes on the constant basis. Next. Okay, you talk about transportation, Claudia. Okay, so we have all these ideas about Colombia and how strongly it is infrastructure for connectivity inside their own cities. And we do have public transportation, and the public transportation unites every corner of each city and each department. That department, we call it department, for you guys is state departments. The trains we have in Metro Bogotá, in Metro Plus de Medellín. Medellín is growing probably on that too. We have another trains, El Tren del Caribe that unites all the coast lane, El Ferrocarril. So Bogotá, so we have it like by areas, like you have Cartagena, Medellín, Cartagena, Medellín, Cartagena, Santa Marta, Barranquilla, all together. Then we have in the interior of the country, we have Medellín, Cali, and Bogotá. And from there, we deliver different transportations. Claudia, is it safe? Yes, it is safe to travel. Today it is. So we thank our previous governments that have worked a lot through that. Next. Okay. We can talk beautiful about our country, but let's check out some numbers. Pasa. Let's talk about a currency. Right now, for investors, this is a huge window opportunity for you to invest in Colombia. The dollar is has a lot of fluctuations, and these fluctuations might vary between 4,000 pesos per dollar, or can go for 4,200. So we usually stay in the range. Now, for you guys, it's a benefit because those properties that were difficult to get due to the monetary exchange, due to these changes, you also can bring more money to the country, or we can just play around. We call it play around with the dollar for the benefit of both parties. So right now, it is challenging for us to invest in our countries, but it is a beautiful standing due to the currency exchange in Colombia. Awesome. We go back to the cities. Okay, let's talk about the cities. How Claudia, tell me a little about the growth. What is your big industry? Our biggest industry, believe it or not, is not tourism, but we usually focus on tourism. With the biggest production we have in America Latina, in Latin America, is a refinery. And also we are technology. Of course, and each region has its own production, like ganadería or like, how do you call it? Like, ¿cómo se dice ganadería en inglés? Nati, ¿cómo se dice ganadería en inglés? No sé cómo se dice en inglés.
Agriculture.
Farming, cow farming. I don't know, farming. Let's leave it at farming. Déjale en farming. Okay? Let's talk a little about the production and 100%, and how these cities, say, Claudia, I'm really in a big growth company, a growth country. Of course you are. The most important cities are, we call it the love triangle. The love triangle is Bogotá, Medellín, and Cali. Those are capital main cities. We heard so many bad news in the past, but today these cities are in another stage of growth. And how immense it is. And I want to outline from Bogotá, Medellín. From these 5 cities you hear, I want to outline Barranquilla. Why do I want to outline Barranquilla? Because as you can see, it is very small, but at the same time, it has a very strong participation in our gross domestic product. So saying this, we understand that the product internally managed through its ports and its industrial production. Regarding Bogotá, 100%, Medellín is 41%, Cali 46%, Barranquilla 65%. It doubles up Medellín and Cali, and Cartagena is also 65.8% of in the whole area, but most of the 65.8% is due to tourism. Yes, we do give a lot through tourism, but as you can see, our cities and our areas and our industries are very strong in our country. Next, second image. Okay, let's talk about the oil gross production. We talked a little about the refinery. We took out 160 5,000 barrels per day, and it is about 3.3% of our growth. And we did just a market analysis through 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, which is a very known information given, and we are being pointed as the 12th country to be upgraded in our projection through growth in America Latina 2024-2025. Next. Claudia, how are the banks over there? Talk to me a little about the financial situation. Okay, this is our rates, and these are tasa efectiva or not. This is our yearly taxation. Couple of months ago, the Banco de la República has pushed down the rates. They're extremely high because we needed some fluctuation regarding the investment in our own country. So they came down for 10.25. I think we're just a little bit, really, I don't think a little bit, we're really high from US, but this is very important to let you know that all the banks are just pushing down a little bit furthermore, and we're looking forward to just take it out for 2025, get to 6.5% in general. Okay, so let's talk about, remember a little while ago we talked about Barranquilla and Bogota and why we compare these cities. These cities are strategically in our country, capital cities, Bogota and Barranquilla. Barranquilla is growing so abruptly that is giving us, the possibility to invest in this region. And this is what it gives us, is a growing market, but that market is specialized for the coastline. So let's talk about a little bit about Barranquilla. I don't know if Miguel, you want to talk a little about Barranquilla, the steady growth in real estate, o el crecimiento en Barranquilla y en raíces. O, Miguel, yo te lo traduzco, te lo traduce Nathaly.
Miguel, si quieres hablar un poquito de Barranquilla en español.
Ok, en español.
Sí.
Te lo traduce Nathaly.
Perfecto. Ok, perfecto. Barranquilla es un puerto marítimo. Obviamente es uno de los puertos principales aquí en Colombia.
It's one of the main ports in Colombia. So it's an entry it's waterfront. Mm-hmm.
Tenemos muchos visitantes de todo el país y también del exterior.
We have a lot of visitors from not only locally from Colombia, but also from internationally, other countries.
Y es reconocida aquí en la costa atlántica como la capital de la costa colombiana.
I would call it the second capital of Colombia because Bogota might be inland, but Barranquilla is by the water, so it's growing quite a bit, and mostly because of the position they're in next to on the Atlantic Ocean.
Lo que significa que muchos de sus residentes no son nativos de aquí de esta ciudad, sino que son de otras ciudades de Colombia.
So mostly people from different areas in Colombia and expats, so not locally from there.
Y en este momento, el gobierno local, desde hace 10 años, ha hecho crecer la ciudad en infraestructura y construcción.
And because of its position on the ocean, the government has put their eyes on it to make sure it grows quite a bit. Although it's small in size, it's growing quite this is getting a lot of investments from the government for infrastructure mostly.
El alcalde ha sido reconocido por esa labor tanto de construcción y expansión turística, aunque Barranquilla no es turística netamente, sí está generando más turismo actualmente.
Because of this investment from the government, they've been getting more flow of tourists. It wasn't originally a touristic location, but because of the investments the government have done, and we'll see some photos too, is that it's growing quite a bit.
Tenemos un verano 365 días al año.
Nice.
Y las personas que vienen del exterior quieren a Barranquilla o quieren venirse para acá porque los que... Termino la idea. Las personas que quieren venir del exterior, que son colombianos, rinde más el dinero en dólares aquí en esta zona.
And a lot of people are investing there. Even people who left the country of Colombia, they're coming back to invest there because they're seeing the growth. ¿Y la primera parte qué era?
Because your money is gonna be worthwhile investment.
Yeah. Barranquilla compared to also Cartagena, right?
Yeah, so Barranquilla. So Miguel, I'm gonna ask you a question in Spanish and English. So we have here the comparative. Tenemos aquí la comparación entre Barranquilla, Bogotá. And we talk a little about, the expansion of the city. Estamos hablando un poco sobre la expansión de estas ciudades. Cuéntanos qué ventajas, tell us a little bit about the comparative analysis, or can you give us three advantages, o no, las tres ventajas competitivas, Barranquilla versus Bogotá, Barranquilla versus Bogotá. Can you give us like a three comparison analysis data there? ¿Nos puede dar 3 puntos comparativos contra Barranquilla o contra Bogotá, por favor?
Perfecto. La principal es que hay una alta valorización de sus propiedades, de las propiedades nuevas.
The properties are going en Barranquilla, ¿verdad?
En Barranquilla.
Barranquilla, the appreciation of the properties are growing faster.
Barranquilla es una ciudad que todo queda cerca. Los trayectos no están más allá de 30 minutos en vehículo.
Everything is nearby, location-wise. Everything is within 30 minutes driving distance.
Pero las distancias realmente están entre 10, 15 minutos a los centros comerciales y a la playa son 20 minutos.
For the if you're going to commercial area, the mall, anything that you need to, buy anything is within 15 minutes drive as well.
Y la otra ventaja es el ecoturismo que está teniendo la ciudad en los últimos 5 años, ha crecido.
And the ecotourism is one of the main features of the city because it's growing a lot, and they're putting more focus on that too, as a government and as a city.
Es una de las 3 razones que...
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mie, so much for your sharing over there. Perfect combination. So we're going to talk a little about, and Bogota is the main capital city. We have a lot of tourism, but there's no investment regarding like, Airbnb or this type of a relocation or having a second home. Usually what people look for is going through the coastline, and I think in part 2 we can talk a little bit more about how each city differentiates one from another and how we can bring that appraisal value of the city depending on the clients, in your case, the investment you're going to do in our country. So we can pass to the next one. Let's talk about the purchase. Oh my God, this is lovely one. This is hilarious. Right, because in most countries it's almost the same, but they say in Colombia, as you know, they're all saying we don't go to court without a lawyer, we don't buy properties in Colombia without an agent, and this is a very old saying in real estate. Let's talk a little bit about the requirement purchases. We strongly suggest always be hand by hand with an agent. And a little bit of story there, it brought me back when I started, I came back to my home country, as I said before, 3 years ago. And I'm licensed in Panama, and I came here, I was wondering how I'm going to work and how I'm going to bring my clients to my home country, after 23 years. And this is what happens when we do a little bit research and study. We start choosing the companies that we feel reliable on. And this is very wide open to you. You're going to see a lot of information. And, I'm going to tell you that, sometimes when you walk in Cartagena, right, You're gonna say apartments, they sell you the apartment literally in the street, and that's all things we need to be careful. And why? Because Colombia, unfortunately, does not have license or MLS. So since we don't have that, the information is too volatile. It goes way too fast. And everything is all over the place. So I'm saying this, and for example, everybody can sell. So my suggestion, our team suggestion, always hand by hand with an expertise, and hopefully you get with us too in EXP. Let's talk about the property search, right? Since there's a lot of information, social media everywhere, YouTube, Instagram, on all these different portals, people just withdraw information and just space it out. It's easy, doesn't cost like too much on Instagram, but all our medias does. But you're gonna set a lot of information. So our suggestion is always check out. First of all, if you're a buyer, our suggestion is always like, okay, what are my preferences? What I'm gonna invest in? This is my budget. This is what I really want. From taking that narrative, and we'll just put it on the properties you want. If you want to invest in relocation, we have property for relocation. We cannot go, and sell your relocation without or a residential, thinking that it's an Airbnb, and then you're gonna get very strong situation in Colombia. So that's what is very important to the property search. Now, our company in Colombia, EXP, what we do is all our properties are listed. We have a seller's agreement, and we have the pre-study of the title, that it is crucial, and we identify if there's any loans, liens, or anything we get regarding that. So saying this, we help you find the property, the ideal property within the time frame that we can work with the sellers and buyers. It is very important about the HOA clearance. Why? Because, since we don't have a very strict situation regarding in the case you can rent. Let's talk about something. There are some buildings in the city, in Cartagena, Barranquilla, Medellín, and Santa Marta, that you can purchase, but they're not Airbnb. So you need to understand a little bit more about it, and you need the bylaws of the building to certify that those are Airbnb. And also that the seller is updated to the HOA services and how much it's going to cost you. Without this, you'll be falling into a process like in any other country that you can get into uncomfortable situations, and we don't want that for you, right? So that's why you have the agents. Afterwards, we settle up an offer and we do a purchase agreement. We do not go directly to a notary, sign the deeds. No. We always have a preliminary document that it is a purchase agreement or a promissory note. And within that promissory note, all the payments are detailed, are the conditions and penalty fees, and everything is underwritten for everybody. After the purchase agreement, we have the public deed. I'm going to make a stop between 5 and 6 because you told me, Claudia, if I'm a foreigner, how do I do this? How do I work this? So there are two ways of payment. We can see that furthermore. You can pay directly to the seller, or you can open an escrow account with companies like a fiduciary trust or another banks, or just bring the money through the money desk of different banks. Then we have the public deed, the notary, the registration property, and the public records. So once you sign the deeds, you pay your closing costs, most of them. Barranquilla, Bogotá, Medellín, and Cali, you pay them fully upfront. But in Cartagena and Santa Marta, the process is a little bit different. So you just sign in, pay the closing costs, come back, do the signature. Everything is a little process. Mostly this process, when everything is signed up, will be around 30 labor or business days. So yes, there are some taxes you needed to pay in the closing costs. And the beauty of working with us is definitely that we're going to disclose everything. I sometimes say, you're going to hear from us the good, the bad, and the ugly, and everything's going to be sit down on right there. You're going to see it, open your eyes, because there's a lot of things that you might be hidden under the table. So come, let's continue on the next one. So this is the, the process. Let's talk about a process. This is like a user process. This process was tailored for development, but we narrowed this process, as we spoke before, into if you are buying, purchasing and doing a cash offer and buying cash, you receive cash, but we call it cash offers. With that cash offer, it's going to take 30 days. But if you have a credit in Colombia, which we're going to talk about too, and you are a Colombian citizen living in the US and you have a credit in our country, then that will take between 60 days. And this is super easy. The research, preliminary negotiation. The negotiation, we do it through offers. We just do not do that, super relaxed calling. We do a very, very US formats, as you guys are used to be. Work with, and this is how the process is between 7 to 12 weeks. This is for developers. So we narrow the same process, and we tailor that process to your needs and your timing. That would take between 30 and 65 days, more or less. Okay, Claudia, what type of properties do we have in Colombia? Okay, we have 4 types of properties and 4 types of investments. We love the pre-built developers. Of course, we have a good project of investment here. This is where really the appraisal on investments are in Colombia. And we do a plan of a portfolio for you to invest in different cities and depending on your budget. And the beauty of this is everything is done for you, right? We have turnkey options right now. The modality of investment here in Colombia is that you purchase a project that it is a turnkey option, and also if you're gonna do it through Airbnb, the same HOA services will be applied for the whole building. So will be one full task completely regarding that. So from the process you build, from the process you buy to the process of ending, we're here for you. It doesn't matter if it's 1 year or 2 years. This is how it works. And also, pre-building developers work through fiduciary. You don't just push the money there through, do a wire transfer. No, we do through fiduciary and go through a process. Then we have, build assets like apartments, houses, townhouses, and villas. That's in the secondary market. We have to check out, in that case, we did property titles, and there are 2 types of investments. You do it. We can see for flipping, or you just want it for you to relocation, or for you to rebuild, and that will be on the secondary market. With this set on the secondary market, we have to go double eyes on it, and that's why you have expertise as your agents. Lands and lots. This is my passion, really. I love this. I mean, I love this. And Colombia right now is seeing a huge possibility, as we spoke about growth, how many people are investing in our country, and the land. Most people buy these lots, and they do subdivision of the lots, and they resell it. And from that same, it can be also financed with the developer. People are just buying to build. You can build your own house. You can build, have a huge lot and divide it and sublot, and that will be into plots. We call it plots here. This is for huge gated communities, and is there, by the way, if you are, I would call it a hardcore investor that wants to go through the process, this right now is huge in Colombia. This is where the business is right now. This is what everything is focusing as a developer. And the custom construction, everything can work for you. We in Colombia have really good people to work with, but also we can give you a group of vendors. Depends on the city you want to do it, and can give you a comparison, or can give you a quotation. So these are the properties we're in. I want to go a little bit back when in Colombia, in Cartagena especially, you know, we have the focus in some areas are the lands and lots, and Santa Marta too. So, for example, in Medellín, you're gonna see these amazing apartments. Now, Medellín has reduced the possibility of certain areas or Airbnb. That said, it has raised up the price of certain properties to invest, but also the return of investment could be around 6 to 7%. So next to the next. Okay, let's talk about the finance, because you always say, okay, Claudia, what happens if I am not ready to invest? What happens if I have 100K only and I will have a couple of years? So you don't need to worry about it. That's why the developers give you a possibility of finance. In Colombia, you can just have a separation agreement of 5K, $5,000, you know, and it can be financed between 20 to 50, even to 50% of in the development, and then that 50% in the next 3 years you have to pay the rest, which is good. Most people, what they do is that they take advantage of that situation and they purchase in the first 2 or 3 listing price lists, and from that set, you know, they wait a couple of years and of course sell it, and that's where the value it is. The upper value goes higher. So I don't know what's everybody's texting. I think it's going to be lunchtime here. No, it's not. It's coffee time here. So we have a modality in lots, especially in lots in Colombia. What they're doing, the developers, after the sublot, they can give you until you can have like the first 25% payment, and then they will finance the 75% of the whole 2 years. And under some conditions that you would choose 3 types of houses and you would choose their developments for the houses. So I think it's a good deal to jump in those kind of investments. So if you are worried that you don't have right now full capital, 20, 30, 40% to jump into a property, or you don't have a 100K or 200 or 300K to invest, with 100K, you can move around different cities and different projects in a different time frame, and you can create a portfolio of investment doing this plan finance by the developers. Next. Legal. Ay, Dios mío. So we'll talk a little about the finances, and this is how it is financed. That's about the developer. Pásate a la otra, a ver si podemos llegar al financiamiento. Okay. Finance. Well, Claudia, I don't want to do projects, but I really love this apartment in Medellín. Oh my God, and I want to get that land in Santa Marta, or I just want to go to Cali and buy an apartment. What can I do? Well, unfortunately, right, we do not in our country have any laws at all that permits foreigners to have a loan in Colombia. The only way to do it is through 2 legal issues. Number one, that you are from Colombia and live outside of Colombia, and you will be treated with a special rate as a Colombian. You're gonna have to go through a lot of process regarding SARLAF and all the details that are needed by the banks. So living abroad, it will be a success if you're Colombian to invest in our country. And also you can use your properties in US with the equity and, you know, get that loan through that equity. Now, another way to do it is usually when you have a second home, and then you purchase your property, you fill out some formats, and you get your investment visa. And with that investment visa, then you can just open that portfolio and start getting the loans, of course, on that property, even though you are a foreigner, but you have the investment visa in Colombia. That's the only way to go through the process of lending. So our suggestions, if you don't have full capital, full cash to pay out, not cash, we call it pago al contado, then focus on something that can give you that property appraisal and value like projects in Colombia. Pásale. Okay, let's go back. Espérate un segundo. Banks. Banks. Los bancos en Colombia. Okay, so we work really close with banks like Bancolombia, with La Mesa de Dinero, the money desk. Banco Bogotá is very friendly too. Da Vivienda is very helpful. And Colpatria, which is Scotiabank, Banco BBVA, and Itaú. So these are the mostly banks that we work very close, and the trust funds we work with closely is Alianza Fiduciaria, which you didn't put it right there, pero Alianza Fiduciaria, which is a trust. How do you purchase in Colombia? And if you don't want to put the whole money into the seller side, then you open a temporary escrow account in Alianza Fiduciaria. We introduce you a couple of our lawyers, and you can work directly with the lawyers through the process to regarding that purchase. Ahora sí. Okay, Claudia, let's talk about the closing costs. Okay, what is the deal here? How does this really work in Colombia? Does it work the same in my country? More or less. You know, closing costs are at the maximum point to the buyer at 3%, and we divide it by 2 the notary costs. We have 3 types of costs, right? We have the seller and the buyers split the notary costs, then from there on the registration fees, and tax registration in La Secretaría, that's the buyer. Some cities like Barranquilla has a different taxation. Se llama estampilla prehospital. So that's what we put as the most at the 3% of the wholesale. Okay, Claudia, what is going on with the commission? This is the same as NARS. Do you know what's going on there? Do we have to go through the same process? Do we have to sign anything? What is going on with the commissions? Okay, let's talk about our fees. One thing is the commission regarding the sales of the property. That commission is usually paid between 3 to 5 to 7%, but that's the sellers. They will pay both parties. Now, regarding buyers, we have some fees that we work very closely, and especially why? Because of the MLS, of our services on time, and we have a commission retainer. That commission retainer is about between $1,000 and $5,000. Whoa! But that depends on the property you're purchasing in. You know, unfortunately, you know, since it's a very market, it is ¿cómo se dice, Nati? It's not a very structured market. We agents protect the seller, the buyer, and also our time and our income, because we found everything. I mean, the stories, we can sit here like for 2 hours on coffee. The stories are big time. So we protect you. This is in order to protect more you than everybody else in the transaction. And the beauty of this is that if you purchase, you know, part of like between 10 and 20% will be a refund to you through the commission payment. Mm-hmm. Can we go to the next one? Hi, let's go back to property taxes. So understanding the closing costs and understanding that how it's divided in Colombia, that we're going to talk about the property taxes. And we have chosen Barranquilla. Claudia, why are you focused on Barranquilla? Because I think it's going to be a very good example. From this example, we can just replicate, or, you know, like in some properties in Bogotá, some properties in Santa Marta, some properties in Medellín, and one another in Cartagena. Pásate, te pasaste. Okay. So let's make an example, because we like to see numbers. If I don't see numbers, if we have 1,070 square meters, that would be 100 square meters, and we have the property appraisal, and we have the commercial price, right? So we call it catastro. So the land tax value is one thing, and commercial is another thing. So the property tax that I'm gonna pay when I sell the property will be the difference of 15 to 20%. But my property taxes, land taxes, or property taxes through the whole year that is paid once, and especially at the beginning of the year, because we get tax exemptions or we lower that rate, right? It is go to the commercial value. It is around 1 to 1.3%. So make an example. It's super easy. So I have a property that it is catastral, that it is valued by the government 150K. I sell it for 230K. So this property value compared to Miami, it's, it's expensive in Miami and taxes are really, really high. And saying this, the difference between 230 and 150, if I sell it in the same year, I have to pay un impuesto que se llama impuesto de ganancia ocasional, wealth, immediate gain, immediately, 35%. But if I sell it after the second year, then I will pay between 15 and 30% of the difference of gain. Now, going back to what are the taxes when I purchase? How much do I have to pay besides my HOA? Usually it is between 1 to 1.3% in the cities we mentioned. Cartagena is a little bit different, and we can see that in the next part too. So if you want to check out your numbers, we can do some exercise next time in each city, so you can start seeing differences and you can see the comparative analysis of the taxes in each city. I put it very small so you can see it. No, mentira. Risk to consider in Colombia. Colombia is a risky country, and unfortunately, we have our grade, international grade is, I think the rating is by, I don't know if it's, the rate we have is around B minus, B. I don't remember clearly. So, Claudia, talk so beautiful about Colombia. Let's talk about the risk in your country, please. And of course, we have risk like any other country. We have security. Is it safe, Claudia? The other day a client came in and she told me, can you tell me a little bit what happened in 1984? I said, well, 1984 was the famous cartels and was extremely dangerous. Today, no, our majors are working roughly to protect our city. Of course, unfortunately, we see bad news around sometimes, but it is what it is. I cannot hide from reality. And this is a country which I feel safe. And even though sometimes, it's like, am I really safe to walk in those city? Am I really safe? I'm not going to kidnap. All those fears are vanished. And our majors are working strong in security with huge cameras, and we're just jumping into very closely to keep our tourism secure. Now, if you come to our country to party and rock and roll, you're going to find party and rock and roll. When you come to our country for relocation, family, you find it here too. So this is like your choice. What I'm going to do, my investment, what I want to go with my investment. The barrier, yeah, we do not fully speak English. As you can see, I have a very Spanish accent there. We do not, but we invite you to work together with us and teach us a little bit more. And there's a lot of schools here and cultures. And this is what I like about Colombia. It's a country that welcomes foreigners. Oh my God, this is a good one. Bureaucratic handles, legal requirements. I mean, it is sometimes bureaucratic. It is sometimes difficult. But with that said, you're going to have a full network behind you when you purchase in our country. And it's not only about the agent, but it is the company that is behind you with legal services. We always tell our clients, walk with a lawyer in real estate, walk with an agent, understand the market, understand the taxes. And we also have CPAs in the firms that we work with legally. Economic fluctuations, Claudia, I mean, I heard so much news about Colombia, the health insurance services, your president, it's very impacting. and things like that. Well, it is impacting. We put something, but I think it's more that Cartagena, we have to cross that out, Nati, about Baru. But yes, we do have some fluctuations, but again, we have tourism booming here. We have a lot of incentives for you to invest in Colombia. We also have all the infrastructure investment the government is doing. US says citizens are putting up for our country and our cities. So I wouldn't be afraid. I think every country goes through processes. While right now, what I'm seeing is more than opportunity. When you see your glass, if it's full or empty, depends on the vision you want to have. So our vision for you today is that this country with the numbers going to show you next time in the city will thrive, will blow your mind away, the investment. Okay, lifestyle. What's that? Oh my God, Cartagena. That was not supposed to come in, but Cartagena, a city of distinction. Well, as you can see, I'm getting ready on my seat because I love this city. And again, Cartagena has been named as 1984 by UNESCO National Heritage. And I'm proud to say that because this city, exactly what it brings is that you find in the city the history, the passion, the people, the culture, the beaches, everything, all in one. So, pass along, Mati. Okay, Claudia, can you talk a little bit about the taxes? Why we are learning this financial moment in Cartagena? Cartagena, with a big difference of all of the cities in Colombia has tax exemptions. There are three types of exemptions. Number one, the first tax exemption, and I can send this to Nathaly, and maybe Nathaly, you can send the information to them later on, because it's all about the taxes that we are worried about. Because you're going to say, how am I going to compete with Cartagena or República Dominicana that give me more incentive? Well, Cartagena is going to give you full incentives. So you're going to have an exemption if you are an investor and you bring your company and you have to Cartagena. Cartagena surroundings before going to the Atlantic, before going to Barranquilla, you will have land value tax exemptions for 10 years. If you are a foreigner that's looking for relocation and you're looking that house for you to retire, you're going to have in land taxes 10 years of exemption. If you are a young kid from 18 to 35 years old, and this is why we open in a technical hub in Cartagena, and it's going to be your first home, you're going to get 5 years of tax exemption. So why are you telling me this, Claudia? Because right now we are opening up the market to new possibilities. Cartagena was strict in tourism, so we want to open up. We want to bring all those investors to our city. I'm going to send Nathaly and every sector, in every area, not only in real estate, we have incentives for people and investors who want to be in our city, want to relocate or have a second home. Vale. Barranquilla, la ciudad espectacular, the most beautiful city in cuanto a investment, in production and commercial. So let's talk a little about why to invest in Barranquilla. Why is so attractive? We have a very good economic growth infrastructure, growing housing demand, La Lonja Barranquilla, with high residential properties. We have a real estate appreciation. I think Miguel mentioned couple of them. And of course, we're looking forward to that tourism. So the cities per se, the coastline of Colombia, are pushing forward for you to come to our cities. And if you don't like the ocean right away, and you like tourism and you want to get a little way from that noise, Barranquilla will be that place. It's full capital growth. Well, we talked a little bit already about retired and digital nomads, and we love Colombia. I'm not a digital nomad, but I love Colombia. And the cost of living, in Medellín, Bogotá, Cartagena, between 1K and 2,000, depends on what you do. That's for rent. There's a go healthcare yesterday. We talked a little bit about we have been nominated as the 10th country. Bogotá, Medellín, Cartagena has health services, really good hospitals. Our city, for example, is going to the north side, and you're gonna see those amazing hospital services that can give it to you for retirement or anything needed. The visa, is full flexibility. We don't have like all these going through difficult bureaucratic processes. We just have to fill out the right formats and the right information and work with a lawyer hand by hand. And this is an expat community. Colombia is an expat community. It's like when you go, I don't know, I know our cities comparable. This is a country that will bring you to be part of our community. We do not work apart from expat communities. Life, culture, or climate. The climate is amazing. I love Medellin. Medellin is not so hot as Cartagena. But we have, as we talk a little bit about, we have a very strong, rich culture. We have los indígenas, we call them natives, African and European cultures here. We have a biodiversity heaven, and now Cali is fighting for being nominated like that. We should include Cali also next to Medellin. And we have Las Amazonas, que es espectacular. And again, tourism and real estate. Okay, this is good stuff. So Carnaval is coming soon in Barranquilla. This is about a little bit about Barranquilla and the coming attractions. We have like Malecón, the Barranquilla La Vieja, the beer festival. If you like our beers, then you have it. Carnaval Barranquilla is very well known. In other cities, we have La Feria de las Flores in Medellín. We have La Salsa in Cali, and we have, well, I don't know what we have in Santa Marta. Sigue la pasada. Creo que están salteadas las firminas. Yeah. So, are you ready to make your move? I don't know if you're ready, but we are ready for you 100%. So, I don't know, Nathaly, if we have questions. I want to thank you so much for being your patient here, having a little bit of coffee with us, and maybe your lunch, sharing your lunch with us. And we thank Miguel, Ricardo, for sure couldn't be here today, Nathaly, and of course, I'm here, your server.
Thank you, Claudia. I'm gonna mute her. I think it bounces. But yeah, thank you everybody for paying attention and staying for such a long presentation. For us, it's super important to just give all the stats on each country. Make sure you save the date for the next one, that is November 5th, 10:30 Central Time. But the next time will be, now that you know the big picture, because otherwise this will be like a 3-hour workshop. Now, next time we'll go over the details by city, what properties that you get, what's the style, how much you need to invest, what do you get for what. So it's super, we like to break it down all the way to price per square meter or per square foot. And that way people can compare, how much is what, where, and then also compare it to other countries if you choose to do that. But yeah, thank you so much, Claudia, for all the efforts and presenting this. And Miguel, because they've been working for hours on putting, all the information together, just to make sure that this is available for everybody here. And it's also going to be posted in YouTube, so you can go back and watch it. But also to consider Colombia as a destination for the future, either to retire, to go work there remotely, or to go visit, because I think we're going to be heading that way in the winter, your summer, January, February, probably, so we can report more to that. So for now, I'll stop recording and I'll put into questions. So thank you again, Claudia and Miguel. And you guys are awesome.